Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Keo here. Thank you for joining me for another podcast. This is episode 4, but kind of episode 2, and it's going to make sense if you're on the app or you could just see what the videos are on order. I put two interviews I had from a couple years back. I put them in there because I need some content so I can get into the algorithm and into Spotify and iTunes and Google and that stuff. So that's the reason why it's there. So this is episode 4, but kind of 2, if that makes any sense. Anyways, thank you for joining me again. This is really awesome doing this thing here. I tried to make it as streamlined and as easy as I could so I can maintain this when this stupid lockdown stuff stops and people can get back to working again. Anyways, first story of the day is going to be Windows 11. I am super excited about this. Currently a Windows user, and I am planning on switching over to Big Sur and M1 MacBook chips, or probably M2 by the time I buy one. I'm excited about what Apple is doing, but Windows has stepped up their game. My experience on Windows computers for the last 5 years now has been solid. I haven't had any major problems with it. A lot of people, Windows has got a bad rep, and some of it's deserved, and a lot of it is urban legend and just shenanigans. People complain about the viruses, but i- if you stop going to porn sites, you're not gonna have viruses, right? It's gonna be okay. You know what? If you got an email with some Nigerian prince asking you to send them money and you don't click the link, your laptop's probably gonna be okay. Like for the most part, you're not gonna have that many problems. It's honestly is how you use it. And Windows has gotten a bad rep for a long time. Like from Vista days, well deserved. The problem with Vista was Vista as a product was okay, but they rushed the release and it put it on underpowered computers. And so it was more of an issue of the system with Vista was fine, but the computer that they sold it on wasn't strong enough or fast enough. And so it looked like, oh, Vista is garbage. But if you had a vast computer and you put Vista on, you were like, this is fine. Going up to Windows 10 and Windows 7 and 8. I think Windows 8 was fine, but people got mad because of the design layout. It was the basic underpinnings of Windows 7, just more optimized. But people looked at that and like, oh, that's ugly. And I don't blame them. It was ugly. I skipped 8 and I kept 7 and jumped right to 10. And I don't blame people at all. Like honestly, it Windows 8 was ugly as sin. Windows Vista was on underpowered computers. And if you notice, the Windows Vista computers, that the second generation of Windows Vista computers, when you put Windows 10 7 on them, were great. And you're like, "Well, wait a minute. Was it Windows Vista or my computer was a piece of crap?" The other biggest problem for Microsoft and Windows computers is that the hardware for a long time has been hot garbage. And then, you see your friend on the MacBook Pro getting a latte in Starbucks, and you're like, oh, that looks nice. And it does look nice. Like the hardware has come a long way for Windows computers from where it started. I think that there's a couple, Lenovo has solid looking computers. Samsung had really nice computers. Dell, the XPS line was phenomenal, it still is. And just overall packages, if you're like, well, I'm not ashamed to pull my Windows computer it looks like some Legos together with duct tape. Like that's what it looked like before. Like Windows computers are hot trash looking. They're just garbage. And the aesthetic of what these things look like matters just as much as how they run and what you use them for. I told this before, but I switched over to Windows because I use Adobe. I don't use Final Cut. I use Adobe Premiere to edit videos, and I use Photoshop and Lightroom. And these are things that I like using. I got them down packed. I've been using them for a long time. These things run better on Windows. It's a fact. It just run better on Windows. People can debate me in the comment section, and that's fine. But Windows has support for NVIDIA, and Apple doesn't. And so you're basically having to use the raw power of the Intel chip to push this boulder up the hill when you can cut this thing in half and do half the work if you had a really good video card. And Apple does not support NVIDIA for whatever beefs Steve Jobs had with NVIDIA, and it hasn't fixed. It's still how many years after Steve Jobs died, Tim Apple is still holding on to this beef. So it just NVIDIA and Adobe Premiere work the best. They just do. Now with the M1 chips, Apple and Final Cut works best. It just does. And it's not even a fair comparison at this point because the way I want to get into that. I'm talking about Windows 11 right now. The overall underpinnings of Windows 11 is still going to be Windows 10, just refined, polished up, and they're going to work on the visual aspect because Windows 10 was still a hodgepodge of Windows 7 stuff. And you're not going to see it on the basics. You go into options and everything, and the basics is there. But if you dig down into the menus, Windows 7 window is going to pop up because they didn't finish polishing up the whole the shell, the underpinnings of the operating system. And I know this is super techy to start a podcast, but we're going to get into foolishness later on. But so bear with me. But yeah, so the underpinnings was just it is what it is, and it's gotten better. I tell people who haven't used Windows in a long time, it's not what it used to be. It is a lot better. Apps and stuff run better. The hardware is better. Overall package is better. And it doesn't deserve the scorn that people have. Because I know a lot of MacBook people turn their nose up on Windows just to be arrogant about it. And for the most part, they had good points. The hardware was trash, and Apple has a better seamless product in some regards because they create the hardware, and you can't beat that. You honestly can't. And Windows is a system where they are literally trying to work for people who are just going to use this for Facebook, people who are just going to play video games, people are going to do hardcore CAD programs on it, and people are going to edit movies on it. Like they have to do the whole gambit. Whereas Apple is just like Facebook and photos and video. These are two options you get. And your Facebook laptop, most people with the MacBook Pro are just using it to browse Facebook. Let's be real here. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm going on a rant. Hey, we're starting off spicy, all right? Yo, I'm feeling it right now. Windows 11, more polished, gonna run better. For me right now, I would stay with Windows if they put out ARM-based chips. And they have them, and it's been a mitigated disaster. Not because the ARM doesn't work with Windows. It actually works flawlessly. Battery life matches the MacBooks and everything else. And it works pretty good. Even with the underpowered Qualcomm. I'm getting in the weeds here. And that's not the point. Windows works solid with ARM. They spent all these years building this thing up. Not just from last year, but from when Windows 10 came out. Scratch that. When Windows 8 came out, they had an ARM version. That's how long ago they've been dealing with this thing. The underpinnings is all there. The problem for Windows is that nobody wants to make apps for it, for the ARM version. Nobody wants to compile the ARM version and go through the trouble of making it, but they should, because those laptops are going to sell like hotcakes, and you should be at the forefront of that because they're better. They're just better. The x86 chips, and again, I'm trying to calm down here. It's too early in the podcast for this, but the reason why I'm going to Mac is because the M1 chips, the battery life, the heat, and the production from the cool down chips, because they some of these chips don't even need a fan. That's how good the power management is on this thing. So we're talking about using your laptop all day, 20 something hours. I could literally use my laptop for like 3 days and not even charge it with doing gigs. That's how crazy the battery life and how efficient these chips are. Now, if Windows and PC computer makers make an ARM chip and Serato makes an ARM version for Windows and Tractor makes an ARM version for Windows, I'll probably stick around. I gotta be honest, I'll probably stick around. My contention here is that Apple has the head start, and it looks like Windows is finally going to get around to this, but I don't know for how long. And I really, really want a ARM-based laptop that's powerful and I could actually use it to get work done. That's what I want. That's what I've always wanted for the longest time. And the fan sounding like I'm on a fighter jet drives me crazy. I hate it. I hate it. And the heat. So that's the reason why I'm going over there. The second they get something that's solid, I may come back. But as it stands right now, this is where I'm at here. But overall, with Windows 11, I like how it looks. I like what they're doing over there with Windows. And the faster they make an ARM chip, I may come back. I'll put it like that. I'm very solidly on the comeback section. Let's talk about DJ rates. I put out a poll last night or 2 nights ago, depending on when I post this. I should be posting this on Friday, but I put up a poll and I was asking, now that you're getting back to work, are your DJ rates gonna go inside with inflation? And the number surprised me, honestly. I had about 60 people that voted so far, and by the time this video comes out, it should be closer to 100. So we'll get a better understanding about what the numbers are. But I'm shocked. Most people still haven't gone back to work yet. They're like me in the stupid limbo, the government inflicted limbo. Um, yeah, I'm shocked about that. I thought a lot more people, especially in North America, would have gotten back to the grind of starting to do gigs again. But this is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is not sustainable, man. I don't want to get all doom and gloom, but this is bad. People should have already been getting back to work. There's enough shots out there. Bill Gates gave you the poke already. Enough people got it. Enough people already had it and got better. Those numbers are well over 50% of the people who got the poke and the people who had it and got better already. Those numbers are way over 50%. And those are the numbers that we were told at the beginning of this was enough to do stuff. And now they're like, nah, I don't know. So I I don't know how I feel about that. I think overall people have to make money and income. We cannot survive uh doing side hustles to pay your bills and collecting checks from the government. That's no bueno. Like just right off rip, that's no bueno. Like long term, that's bad for society. That's bad for the economy. That's bad for the government. That's gonna create all kind of issues long term. And I I looked at this, and I don't want to get too complex and get too political, but I've looked at this from an economic standpoint and from a business standpoint because that's what I went to school for, in addition to computer programming. And this is not good. Inflation is out of control, and this is why I asked the poll about if people's numbers are going up for what they're going to charge. You have to charge more, no question. And the conundrum is that the people who are going to book you haven't made more money. There hasn't been like some kind of great raise for society, but everything's gone up. Food, gas, everything gone up. Rent, housing prices gone up. Lumber's gone up. Everything's gone up. So for you to keep pace, you're gonna have to raise your price, and then your local butcher has to raise his price, and I'm saying like it's a trickle down thing of everybody's gonna get hit with this thing, and everyone's gonna have to raise their prices whether they want to or not. If you're still charging bargain basement prices, you're not gonna be able to survive in 2022. I'm just gonna call it like that. You have to raise your prices. And I know there's people who haven't been working and they're gonna give the friends and family discount, but you gotta hold strong here. Your prices has to go up because the cost of living has gone up. And you gotta match that. You don't I think the issue with DJs is that it is a fun job, and I think a lot of DJs look at it more as a hobby and a fun thing that they like doing rather than this is a business, and you have to treat it as such. You need to get your invoices ready. You got to get your contracts ready. You need to go there. You got to treat this like a business because everybody else who's making money off of your DJ skills is treating this as a business. And if you're still in hobby mode while all these other people are looking at a business, you are not going to survive this thing. We are in crazy town right now, and I, I'm dead serious when I say this. This is not fun and games anymore for I think hobby people have to be like, I don't know if you don't have to sell your gear, but you got to be like, okay, I'm out. I'm out. Put your cards on the table and go like, "Yeah, dealer, cash me out. Cash me outside." How about that? Like, you gotta flat out. You got if you're not gonna treat this seriously, because you have everything against you right now for this business. You have people who are scared to go outside. You have governments trying to make sure that you can't open up. You have regulations about, okay, well, you need dancers got to be 18 feet apart and they got to wear a mask and goggles and a hazmat suit. Like I'm saying, like people are getting involved in, hey, I'm just going to play some music and I'm just going to have some fun. People are in the middleman business now trying to regulate how you can do your job. That's what I like. You have to take it serious at a different level than you were doing before. That's all I'm saying. You can take with that what you will, but that's all I'm saying. You gotta look at this a little bit different from how you used to. Speaking of looking at how you different than how you used to, let's talk about OnlyFans. Um, I think that with the DJ community, and we deal with um the underground of society a little bit more. So, DJs in clubs, you're bound to meet ladies of the night and dancers. And I'm not talking about ballerinas either. You know what I'm saying? Like you deal with that. You deal with a lot of stuff that's the underground. And OnlyFans is part of that underground. I bet you if you DJ at a club, I bet you a lot of girls that are on the VIP have a side page somewhere or something like that. They getting a cash app or something that they're, you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't be surprised. And DJs who do this stuff enough, you're not surprised. I know people who dealt with that. When I used to do the boat cruises back when the world existed, I I used to see that all the time, and I know people were involved in that firsthand. And it's a crazy town because it's nightlife. People they're a little bit more free with their day job. So like it is what it is. I don't judge. I flat out don't judge. I have friends that are in it, and I said that in my OnlyFans video. I was like, I have friends that do this, and I'm mad cool with them. They're good people. I support them any way I can. Um, and you know what? I don't have an issue with it. I talked about this in my video before, but I don't think people understand how much money a lot of people are making from OnlyFans. OnlyFans paid out, not brought in. OnlyFans paid out to cut to their proprietor. You gotta treat OnlyFans like a barbershop, man. You got your barbershop chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta pay your fees, but and you bring as many customers you got, you can make the sky's the limit. OnlyFans is like barbershop. So they brought in three, not two, not one, $3 billion in income. That is, I need a moment of silence for OnlyFans. Yo, just put that in perspective, right? In the last year, these people were bringing in bank, just bank. And the rug is going to be cut from underneath them. There is the thing that you need to understand about OnlyFans is a lot of the ladies who have their pages and they got their spicy prawn on there and they're doing their thing. A lot of them don't have backup plans or investments or bought some real estate or anything like that. They were living the high life, right? Lobsters and shrimp. They got the scrimp on the Barbie right now. High life. And it's the same thing with DJs. A lot of DJs were like, yo, I'm bringing in $800 a night. Yo, I'm doing this. Yo, parties are crazy. They open up a new club in a football stadium. Yo, times are going to be good. Ain't nothing going to bring this high down. And then the coof happened. And you're like, cuckoo, ho, ho. So that thing there, that asteroid of holy crap is gonna hit the OnlyFans market. And I gotta be honest, I don't even think a lot of people even realize that OnlyFans is about to cut this out. And and then you're gonna be doing a cat and mouse game like Twitch about how am I gonna get this prawn on this platform without breaking my terms of service and getting kicked off here. Cause I have some what do they call it? War pigs? I forgot the name for it. Yo, the name is hilarious. What they're calling the dudes who send in that Cash App and that thing on Twitch. But like that crew of people are about to get their legs cut from underneath them. And it is going to be bonkers what happens next. Cause this thing was paying people's rent. People moved up to the east side to a deluxe apartment, all right? If you know what that is, yo, shout out to the people who know what that is. All right. People moved out of their crappy with their roommates over to a condo because of what OnlyFans was paying out. That $3 billion, right? And it was spicy pictures and all kind of stuff hitting the Cash App so they can put on the schoolgirl outfit and whatever else. And that is gone. Well, it's going to be gone. It's not gone yet. If you're listening to this and you got OnlyFans, kudos to you. But yeah, to the people who are making the spicy prawn, you have to change your business model. And you got to think about it like this, all right? There's people who had the spread eagle, the drop down, get your eagle on, right? Those people. How do you go back from seeing that and getting paid to show that down to having to put a bikini on or some some shorts and a crop top? How do you go back from that to that? I am very curious to see how that works. That is going to be very interesting. I am baffled by this, and I can't wait to see it. I am going to subscribe just to see how people pull this off. But I will say this: never underestimate the girls that are doing this stuff, because Twitch is the best example. So Twitch is like, hey, no nudity, none at all. And girls are like, all right, cool, 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 cool. I'm gonna body paint myself without a bra on, and it's art. And Twitch was like, damn, you're right, you got me. All right, cool, we can do that. And then girls are like, oh, word? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, well, I'm going to sit into a tub of jello and some pasties. And Twitch was like, ah, okay, all right. I mean, technically that is on the edges, but all right, you know what? Cool for now, but we're keeping our eye on you. And then girls was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm going to write your name on my boobs with some pasties on. And Twitch was like, oh, okay. You can see the sweat coming down. Twitch is like, what are you doing? You're killing us right now. We're trying to let all this stuff slide. Why you keep pushing the envelope? The last thing that girls are doing on Twitch was they're doing the ASMR thing with the microphone, but this grinding on their pelvis. And I'm like, yo, how do you? This is entertainment for somebody. Somebody is like, yes, yes. ASMR pelvis going on right now. Get some ASMR pelvis action. Like, and they're just the cash apps going crazy. Super chats, whatever. They're just hitting them up. This is what's going to happen to OnlyFans. People are going to try and game the system in ways that you never thought possible to maintain the condo life and that fresh BMW. And I am here for all of this. I can't wait to see what a cluster this is gonna be. I can't wait. I am here for all of this. This is gonna be glorious. And Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, OnlyFans, they brought this on themselves because they could have just been like, you know what? Everything's cool. As long as underage people are on here, go for it. And just be like, do you? But they decide to be moral policing, and so they get what they get. And this is gonna be glorious. This is gonna mess up all of these platforms. Well, it is messing up all these platforms, and I think it's hilarious because they were cool with it before, and now they decide to police it, but they weren't prepared for how to police it, and they weren't prepared for the Inspector Gadgets over here in bikinis trying to game the system. So, kudos to them. I want to talk about Xbox real quick. I am semi-gamer, I guess you could say. I play. I play. I prefer first-person shooters and car games. And occasionally I'll play some sports. And I got caught up in this deal from Xbox Live or GameSpot, whatever. Xbox Game Pass. They were offering 3 months for $1. And I was like, hell yes. Sign me up for this. I think regular price is like $16 a month. And I don't even look. Last year, I played Xbox from January to, I would say, May. March, April, May. And then I was like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I got to stop this. And, I started getting big business minded again because I was just wasting hours and hours being unproductive. And then just get back in the grind, start making money again, start doing other stuff, getting other ventures, being a productive member of society instead of being a Madden king. And but like generally, I only play a couple games, and then I saw this deal, and I wasn't gonna get it because I was like, oh man, it's gonna up, and I am swamped with work and trying to do stuff right now. I do not need procrastination back in my life again. And then here comes Xbox Live, $1. I I I played for I think I played Madden. I played a whole season of Madden. I played my game of choice is Gears of War and Halo for first and third person shooters. Those are my two games of choice. I love Gears of War and I love Halo, and then I love Forza, Horizon, and then the regular Forza where you build up your car with the parts and stuff. I I can play actually all four of those games. I can play in the background getting work done. And I mean like recording a podcast or just being on the phone talking about business or making plans, whatever. I can play for especially Forza because it's like this driving thing, and it's not really thought. It's like it's kind of like automatic. I know to press the brakes and then just driving. I can zone out and play that in the background, and it's relaxing to me. And a lot of times I'll do that when I'm talking to the lady folk. Yeah, I'll honest to God, I'll be on Forza, just like, uh-huh. Oh, okay. And what happened to you today? Really? I got Forza on just fully in the middle of the game. And it's just soothing. It's relaxing. But it is a terrible time waster for me in particular. And I'm trying to watch it. So I'm in month one of this 3-month pass. I'm probably not gonna renew it. I'm just I am gonna play. I'm gonna finish playing Gears of War 5. I'm like in the middle of that right now. Gears of War is a quick game. That's like maybe 10 hours gameplay. Uh, but it's not that long. I play like an hour or two a day, and I'll get back into doing actual productive thing. But it is a horrible time waster for me because at least when I watch YouTube videos, like I treat that as business related because I'm trying to learn skills or get info, or I'm trying to find out new topics, or I'm semi working and with my watching YouTube videos. And a lot of times I'll just stream it to the TV and I'll exercise, or I'm just doing something in the background. I'm listening to whatever video it is. But it is all this stuff is a supreme time waster, and it 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 undermines my ability to get things done. I've discovered, actually, once I started doing the YouTube videos, at least for last year, because before I'll make videos in January to like March, and I got busy, start wedding season start up, or I start doing parties or boat cruises or whatever, and then I'll just be busy. And then come November, it'll kind of slow down, and I only got like, a couple weddings or whatever. And then, I'm just chilling. I got like a Christmas party, a couple Christmas parties, or holiday parties, as they say, and I do a couple of those, and the New Year's thing, and then I got like a month off in January, and then so like my slowdown in production for my YouTube videos is more so me being busy and me not taking it seriously. But in 2020, I would say around September, I really started taking this thing seriously, and I've gained maybe 1,500 subscribers. Um, no, I had 1,000 before then, so I would say like 1,300 subscribers in a couple months, and growth is pretty good for the type of videos I make and the content I make. It's very niche. I don't. It's not wide. I don't reach a large market, so my growth is pretty good for what I'm doing. I'm not making videos every day like I should be. But my issue with procrastination has always been that I'll get sidetracked with something or another project, and I'll get started with something, and then I'll work on a bigger project or something that's more important. And the other thing that I was working on, I'll always get shoved to the side. And for me, it's always been time management. I haven't set aside a day to do something, but when I do have days to do stuff and I'm organized like I am when I'm doing weddings and other stuff, like I get an unreal amount of stuff accomplished. And even with Xbox and all this other stuff, I still get a crazy amount of stuff accomplished. And it's just a thing about setting up your time and being organized. And instead of, for me, a lot of times I was just going with the flow and just doing whatever I felt like. But I am trying to be more organized. I got this app. So I have my computer, my phone, my tablet, and it's about a to-do list. And I've been making things on the to-do list and scratching things off on the to-do list. And that has been extremely helpful. And getting like kind of reminders that, oh, I didn't finish this in time, and I need to kind of work on this stuff better. But for me, I need guidance on that regard. I can't be free solo just chilling. I will I'll get nothing done if I'm just free solo, just sleeping or whatever. Like I'll get nothing done. I need that kick in the pants about, oh, I got a meeting set up for today, or I got this thing going on, and it's the only way I can get things done. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that, but for DJs, especially 2021 DJs, we can't just play music anymore in a club. We need to do other projects to build our brand or to get more work or just to make more money. We're going to need to do other projects. And I think that a lot of people need to be more concerned about getting bigger stuff. Like, I never had a website for the longest time. I got a website now. I'm being more serious about the podcast. I have two podcasts now. I'm doing two podcasts, Behind the Groove and the Raw and Uncut. Shout out to my boy Basil. Behind the Groove, we are pretty much almost every day we drop video clips and stuff. And we're talking about everything, sci-fi, computers, everything. We talk about the whole gambit. We're on a kick of TV shows right now. And so I think we're doing the Loki show. So if you want to hear that, you can go check out Behind the Groove. Link is gonna be in the description. Yada yada yada. Anyways, getting back to my point. So because I've been doing the website, all this other stuff all together, I've had to be more organized and be more deliberate with my time. And it is so helpful. It has changed my ability to get things done. And I think that it is helpful. I'll put it like that. It's helpful. So if you want to help get your stuff going, if you have other projects you're working on outside of just DJing, you have to get involved with other ways to kind of keep you organized. Like, you have to. And for me, like, it is brutal. It is brutal. Anyways, I want to talk about YouTube censorship really quickly, and then I'm gonna go on to my last topic for the day. Actually, I have two more topics, but like, let's talk about the YouTube censorship real quick. YouTube is becoming unusable and unbearable at the same time. Um, I'm real careful about what I say in videos, and I'm actually careful about what kind of topics I'm willing to put up on the YouTube videos because I'm trying to avoid getting hit with the algorithm. But YouTube hit me about my OnlyFans video, and I I went out of my way to make that as clean as possible, and they still hit me. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. The algorithm is so out of control that is irrelevant if you're following the rules and guidelines. They're just catching everything in a wide net. And it's annoying. I gotta say, as a content creator, and I've been making videos for like 7 years, 5 years with this channel, and a couple years on some other channels. I, it is the worst it's ever been by far. And it makes it difficult to be creative because in the back of your head, like for me, I have notes, but I'm just talking off the top of my dome, like just straight up how I would. And that's the point of the raw and uncut is to just talk to you like I'm talking to another person. If you were sitting in my house right now and you got a beer and I got a beer, this is how I would be talking to you. That's the point of the podcast. But it is difficult to talk about topics that are interesting in any capacity. Like so much stuff happened, and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about it, but I can't. Just not worth it. And I'm probably gonna just bypass YouTube altogether and put topics like this on my Odyssey page or mine's or just on the podcast alone because I mean, like some of these topics are interesting, and I definitely want to put my opinion onto it. But YouTube is unbearable at this point. It is ridiculous. I look. I've been hit maybe all of. And this is the crazy part, all right? I have a DJ focused channel, primarily talking about music industry, music production, artists, that kind of stuff. I've been hit with a couple copyrights and a couple censorship type issues on my YouTube videos. A couple of them. With me being extremely careful about what I want to say and how I want to present stuff. And it's just blown my mind. And I'm like, how can YouTube keep this up long term if you're making people not want to use their platform? And it's the biggest one. It's connected to Google and it's your phone, whatever. But Odyssey is pretty good. It is really good. The only thing holding back Odyssey in my opinion, is they don't have an app for TV because I use that heavy. I stream from my YouTube to my TV heavy for a lot of stuff, whether I'm exercising or I'm working out or I'm doing something in the background. I'll just have it on my TV playing. And they don't have an app in the app stores. Well, I think they do, but I don't think like it's an official app. It's like some kind of workaround. Or if they do have official library app, no, they do have official library app. It's just okay. It's not up to where they need to be. But the thing about library and Odyssey is they're getting there really quickly. They're offering crypto and stuff for people watching the videos and a bunch of other incentives to go over there. And I have my entire library is on Odyssey, and I've switched between platforms just to see, and my Odyssey videos look the exact same as the YouTube ones. The high res, 4K, all that stuff. It looks good. It loads quickly. Search is okay. It's not great. I think the other problem with Odyssey is that the content isn't there. I think I'm one of the few DJ any DJs on the platform at all. I think I'm one of the first, or just one of the few. I think there's a couple other guys on there, but it's not a lot. So people who watch my videos or even subscribers on Odyssey, it's more for my takes on other stuff outside of DJing. But even still, they're they're getting there. As far as the overall platform goes, it is solid. It works great, and I YouTube could MySpace itself if they're not careful. Yeah, I'll put it like that. They YouTube needs to be very careful. The apocalypses don't help. The censorship isn't helping. Being heavy-handed with how the search works for some people, but not for others, that's not helping. Yeah, I've seen heavy decline in search stuff. And I'm like, get your act together, YouTube. Honestly. Okay. I have two more things that I wanted to talk about. Talked about the lockdowns. I want to talk about this Michael B. Jordan thing here really quickly. Uh, first thing, let me talk about Nicki Minaj fans. Nicki Minaj fans are crazy people. I I did a video a couple weeks ago about Nicki Minaj and her career, and I think that her career is on decline. People lost their mind. I'm still getting people in the comment section emailing me angry emails and leaving ridiculous messages. And I'm like, you don't even understand music industry, but you're talking about something that you don't understand. Okay, all right, fine, whatever. I'm probably encouraging it too much because I think it's funny, but getting back to my point, Michael B. Jordan is creating this kind of alcohol brand, and he has a name. It's some kind of West Indian thing. I'm not from Trinidad. I'm from Jamaica, right? And people are, I shouldn't say people. Nicki Minaj and a couple Twitter people who don't matter complained about the name, and he cucked and decided that he's gonna change his name, which I'm like, wrong move there. I would go, I'm gonna get a tattoo of this name, and I'm gonna put a billboard next to your house to remind you that this is the name of the brand. But like, he changed the name, so whatever on that part. But I find that hilarious that he would fold for something that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. They went through the people who don't have brands or who built anything like to sell like products or whatever. Something like that on that scale, because I'm pretty sure he has millions of stuff back behind him backing this thing, millions of dollars backing this thing. They spent time and effort developing the name and what it meant and all this stuff to go inside with this brand, and you're just gonna change it on the whim. Just like the Washington football team. Like, what are you doing? This name means something. Don't change it. Don't change it. It is ridiculous that this guy folded like this, the way he did, over people complaining on Twitter. Like, if it was something offensive, like something racist, like the Washington football team, I'll be like, all right, cool. I get it. Like, I get it. But I also don't think you should change the name because it sends the wrong message. And that's why, like, if you're gonna change the name, change it because you felt like it. Be like, F you to all the people complaining and crying about it and kick rocks. And then 2 years later, be like, you know what? I think it's time. I'm gonna change the name because I feel like it. Do not give them that satisfaction. When people are crying on the internet about something, do not give them the satisfaction. Nothing good's gonna come out of that. You're already starting on bended knee, taking all kind of L's by folding before you even get your product on the shelves. Like, that is crazy to me. I don't understand what the thinking was behind that they decided to fold. Like, that is just, I don't understand that. And I'm not some crazy right winger or some lunatic, whatever, but honest to God, I don't like the idea of people in fuzzy slippers tweeting from their MacBook Pro, drinking some Starbucks, ice cap, not even coffee, an ice cap, and they just got the momentum going to cause trouble for you. F these people. I'll say that again on my podcast. F these people who are complaining for the sake of complaining. If you had a real issue and it was an important point, okay, cool. I have no issue with that. Absolutely at all. I support that if it's a serious issue. But to the people crying about something, we have to stop catering to these people. I talked about this with the Morgan Wallen thing and Kevin Hart and all this other stuff. Stop folding for people crying on the internet. Stop it. There is zero good going to come from this at all. You're not going to be in a better position. The people crying aren't going to accept you. You're not going to get more business out of this because for me personally, because I saw he folded like that, I have no respect for whatever product he puts out. I have zero respect. I'm going to look at him sideways and I'm watching him in the action movie and he's punching people in the face. I'm like, Are you really gonna do that though? I'm like, yo, you got Nicki Minaj fans made you fold and change your name of your company. Like, are you kidding me? So when you shooting guns out of the back of a pickup truck, I'm like, are you gonna do that though? I want to at least kind of believe you could do that in person when I'm watching an action movie or whatever. If you're in a Creed thing and you're punching somebody in the face, you're going 10 rounds or whatever. I'll be like, but if Nicki Minaj fans were kind of heckling you, would you be like, I gotta give up, we're a coach, I gotta get out? Like, are you gonna do that? It's just weak. That is weak sauce to me. I can't respect that. I'm sorry. I don't respect it at all. Do not fold for these people. It to fold for them because they're like it's cultural appropriation. Oh hell no. Even more reason not to fold. Who is Nicki Minaj to complain about cultural appropriation? Have you seen her career? Are you kidding me? With her fake Jamaican accent? Are you kidding me? Stop it. Stop. Stop. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't want to go on a rant, but like stop. Like stop. That is laughable on his face. That Nicki Minaj of all people is gonna complain about cultural appropriation. That is laughable. That is hilarious coming from her in her career to cry about cultural appropriation. Yeah, I can't. I can't. Look, I am out of Aunt Evans, all right? I'm out. I'm out. I'm just flat out. That is ridiculous to me. All right, I'm gonna move on. I want to talk about something a little bit more serious here. We gotta talk about Britney Spears. Um, I've never really been a huge fan of hers. I look, I play some of her music. I like that slave song that she did with the Neptunes. That beat is crazy. Oh, I love that beat. And what's that song that she had on the airplane? Toxic or whatever. Oh, I love that song. That song is great. She had a couple of dance songs that was kind of cool, but I've never been like a huge Britney fan. But hearing what's going on with her right now, oh, that it kind of it is sad. It's really sad. So for people who are not up on this, um, when she turned 21, her dad said that she has like some kind of mental problem and basically took over her brand and everything, and she signed her life away to her dad. And so she's doing tours or whatever, and all the money is going to her father. He controls everything about her life. And this is the crazy part about how bad it got. Her dad has control whether or not she could take birth control. That's how insane this thing is. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. That's sad. And she gotta be like 40 now, 30 something now, whatever. Like, and she's basically, uh, I'm not saying this pejoratively or whatever, and even saying it flippantly. She's a slave to the music industry and the entertainment industry and her father. And that is just, good God, man. I couldn't, like, I don't have any kids, but I couldn't think about using my kids like that. And I thought about like Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, whatever, and like their father, how he was with them. But eventually that they got control over their finances and they could do what they wanted. And Joe Jackson didn't mean anything to them. And, as adults. But she's got old kids. Her kids are old. Kevin Ferdinand Furlan, whatever his name is, backup dancer that she had kids with. That dude, they got grown kids right now, and she has no control over her life. So like, it is heartbreaking hearing this story about what's going on with her, and it's a thing of like, on the face of it, a lot of people are like, oh, sad. Britney's a millionaire. Oh, look at her, poor her. But like, she's not really a millionaire. Her dad's a millionaire. Her dad has control of her money, and she's basically working for her father. This guy has complete control of her life where like she couldn't even go outside. And thing is though, I heard about this a year or two ago and on Twitter. And I had Twitter's a dumpster fire. And this is why I didn't put any credence behind it because Twitter's a dumpster fire. And so people were like, yo, Britney's like a hostage right now. And I was like, Britney? Britney's putting some. She's like doing a thing in Vegas right now. What are you talking about? Britney's a hostage. And then I read up a little bit, and people send me some other stuff. So, like, when I'm wrong, I admit when I'm wrong. And some people send me some other stuff about what was going on right now, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. This is absolute crazy. So, her record company and her father are just printing money off of her back and just controlling her life. Like she can't get a haircut without her father's permission. This thing's crazy. The birth control thing, I was like, that's like a bridge way too far. But just like all the other stuff, like for her even doing the thing in Vegas, she did a show for like I forgot. It was like $70 million or $100 million or whatever. It was a lot of money. She did a show for like a year, like a couple shows a day in Vegas, and all of it was for nothing because all of it went to her father. I couldn't imagine that. Like, yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Like, it's just yeah, that's sad. That's super sad. So she had a hearing. I guess I'm gonna post this tomorrow. So I guess when you hear this, it would be Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was the hearing, and she's trying to prove that she's competent to get control of her life back. And I gotta be honest, hashtag free Britney. I hope she gets it back, and I hope she sues her dad, and I hope she gets the money back from him, and I hope she sues her record company, and I get the money from them, because this is like, this, and not even hyperbolic. This is literally slavery. Is the I know it sounds crazy and everything else, but like that's literally what that is. To force labor and not have control of your life. That's literally what that is. And if you're offended by that, I mean, I apologize if you are or whatever, but I mean, it is what it is. Like words mean something. And if she can't leave her house, she can't get a haircut unless he says so. He's controlling what kind of food she eats and what drugs she's taking. That is slavery. You can package it up and call it something else, but that's messed up. That something like that could happen to a celebrity, let alone all the people it's happening that aren't even famous. So I hope at least in that regard, like this will draw some light into people who are abusing their kids in the entertainment industry. 'Cause the entertainment industry is full of scumbaggery and evil people. I'll put it like that. Just evil people on all sides and mostly on the left politically, but I want to go there right now. Let's be real here. California votes one way, right? Let's be real here. And it's the people who get on TV or they got their video about, oh, we gotta get together and save the birds and whatever else, and save the environment, do your duty, and don't hoot and all that crap. And they're worried about all this other stuff, but they work in an industry that's propping up monsters, like just flat out monsters. And Hollywood is ridiculous. I have no respect for Hollywood at all. I hated living down there. I hate that state. To be honest, I will never go back to California. Someone's got to drag me to California to go back down there again. People down there are amazing. Food's good. I can deal without the earthquakes. But the people in power down there, not just Newsom, but I mean like the people in power, the actual power of it, the billionaires and the millionaires that run that city, rotten to its core, just to the bottom of its core is rotten, all the way down, just absolute, just disgusting evil people. The TV networks, the record labels, you name it, evil people work there. And evil people look at the other evil people and pretend like, let's be real, they pretend like Jeffrey and your other buddy Weinstein were the only two bad apples out the bunch, and everybody else is all good, we're all cleaned up here. Bullshit. The people in California, that the regular human beings that are working down there on the lower thing, watching their state get destroyed from these evil people is sad in itself. And that's a whole other topic for another day. And you know what? Maybe we'll do that. But right now, I want to say, I hope Britney gets free. I hope Britney sues all the scumbags who made this possible, who made her life a living hell for all these years. And I hope that this draws a light to the other people, like child actors, kids on Nickelodeon. Yo, Nickelodeon is bonkers. Allegedly. You gotta do allegedly. Hollywood is a cesspit. Cesspool. I think that's the term. A pile of garbage. And I think we're gonna leave it right there. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm gonna have wild topics like this, and I'm gonna talk about some more issues outside of just DJing, but I'm still gonna talk about DJ stuff too, because I'm a DJ, man. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all that stuff. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for buying from the t-shirt shop and just watching the videos. Even give me a thumbs up. I appreciate all this stuff. All you people make this happen. Please like and subscribe. And peace out, bitches.